Hey everyone, welcome back. Welcome to Lessons in Leadership. I'm Dave Guerra. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for watching. Do appreciate you. Today, it's a little different. Okay, today's a little different. These are the 10 things guaranteed to never make you a successful leader. That's right, the 10 things guaranteed to never make you a successful leader. Never make you a successful leader. So if you're doing these things, guess what? You're on the right path to never be a successful leader. And so let's dive in. The 10 things guaranteed to never make you a successful leader. Number one, being scared of failure or trying to do anything. Being scared of failure or trying to do anything, or failure to try, or failure to do anything because you're scared of failing. Folks, we're all scared. Everyone's scared. If anybody says they're never scared, they're lying to you. It's just that simple. The truth is we're all scared. But you know what? We also have to set that fear aside, being scared. The fear of failure, being scared to fail, and just try. Take that step. Step up. Climb that 100-foot tower. Tie up that rope and go ahead and slide on down. You know, you're on the rope. The rope's been there a while. Same thing. Climbing up a mountain. Climb that mountain. Takes one step at a time. But do not be afraid to try anything. Okay? So again, be careful, but don't be scared. Failure to try is a quick way to never make you a successful leader. People want to see people who try. People want to see leaders that are trying and doing something. Whether they succeed or not is besides the point. They're actually out there doing it. Number two, taking advice from bad managers or people afraid to lead or people who have never led. So again, if you take advice from bad managers or people who are afraid to lead or people who have never led before, I'm not talking about managing. That's different. People who are managers, who have been managers, well, you know, they manage, but have they led? That's what makes them bad managers if they're not leaders. Okay? And being a manager and being a leader doesn't mean that, you go out and party with them. No, that's also a bad manager. And that's for a different episode. But just kind of leading you down that path, just trying to clarify that, is keep taking advice from bad managers or people that are afraid to lead. Like, there's always going to be that one person that's going to push, but never steps up. The person who says, hey, teachers deserve better pay, but yet has yet to sign a petition or has yet to go and speak on behalf of those teachers at a school board meeting. That's the kind of person that's afraid to lead. Or those people that, pick a topic that what's hot today and then pick the next topic, those Johnny-come-latelys. The Johnny-come-latelys. Or in sports, they're called the homers. The homers, that. So that's what I'm talking about. Those are people who are afraid to lead and people who have never led before. So don't take their advice. What do they know? Focusing on the safe and the certain instead of diving into the deep end, folks. That is, again, dealing with that failing to try or scared of failure because of trying something. Focusing on the safe and certain. Sure, you want to know where you land when you're going to jump. There's nothing wrong with that. But is it certain? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But that should not stop you from diving into the deep end. You dive into the deep end of the pool, well, let's hope you know how to swim first. And if you don't touch the bottom, what does that matter? The ocean is, miles deep. You go into the ocean, eventually at one point, you're not going to touch the bottom. But does that keep you out of going to the beach and going into the water? It should not. And now, if you don't know how to swim, then that should keep you out of the water. But you know what that means? That means that now it's time for you to learn, because that's trying something new. Next, assuming that some leaders, through luck, or it was handed to them, became the leaders. That some became leaders through luck, or it was handed to them. I have yet to see a successful leader or someone see a successful leader because it was handed to them, just stroke of luck, or it was handed to them. Their dad owned the company, and so that makes them automatically the leader? No, that's the wrong answer. It barely makes them a bad manager. Sure, they might work in the business growing up. Sure, they might know it. But again, if their father started the business and dad just handed it to them, that doesn't necessarily make them leaders. He just says, okay, well, I think you can keep the business alive. I started it, and you just keep the business alive, and that's it. No, that's not good leadership, because I guarantee you the leaders are those that the owner did not hand the business to. The ones that have been there a while, the tenured ones, the ones that talk behind the kids' back. Those are the leaders. Because again, that's who people are going to turn to. Because, it was just handed to them. But again, they're also great leaders. They're also great leaders. that they're taught by their parent, that they're taught by their mentors, that they're taught by their leadership growing up and working through it. And yes, they became leaders because somebody saw the vision in those individuals. Be that kind of person. Be the kind of person that someone's going to see the vision of leadership in you. And guess what? Sure, it might be handed to you, but because they believe in you, not because of a sense of a family obligation. That's the wrong thing. But because they believe in you, that's the right thing. Failing to prepare, failing to learn, failing to take advantage, failing to step up, basically, you just want to fail. So if you fail to prepare, it means you're preparing to fail. You're failing to learn, that means you're prepared to just stay ignorant. Failing to take advantage of a situation. Now, of course, not every situation needs to be taken advantage of, but when those situations do come up, you take advantage of them to your benefit and the benefit of your team. That's a leader. Step up. Oh, you've got to step up every single day. The moment you put your feet on the ground, you're stepping up because you're going to make today better than yesterday. But if you just want to fail, then what's the point? Why bother? So again, failing to prepare is definitely, one of the 10 things that's going to guarantee you never to make you a successful leader. Next, not setting goals of any kind. That's definitely going to prepare you not to succeed. Any kind of goals. Personal, professional, social, guess what? Not setting goals, not keeping to those goals, not working to achieving those goals, you're not going to succeed, and that's a given. Spending more time on distractions and less time on growth. Folks, I'm guilty of this. I don't spend more time. I do have allocate myself an hour where I'll go and play online on the PS4. And that's it. Then I'm off and writing. I'm off and doing the podcast. I'm out here recording videos on my day off. I am doing what it takes because you have to do what it takes. And you have to continue growing. And you have to continue doing what it takes to grow. But if you're spending more time on the distractions and less time on growth, less time on hustle, less time on grinding, guess what? You're going to get exactly what you get. A lot of distractions, no growth, no hustle, no grind, no nothing. This one. Oh, I know so many, and I used to be one of those people until I realized, it's just a little bit easier not to do that. But if you are constantly making up excuses or you're constantly blaming others for your worries, your problems, your woes, you get exactly what you deserve. And that's people are going to stop listening to you. People are going to stop coming to you. People are going to stop asking you questions because if you're just constantly full of excuses, what does that say? That means you don't want to grow. That means you're spending less time on growth. You're constantly blaming others for your problems? Well, guess what? Again, you deserve what you get. Because you're going to find yourself by yourself. And why do you find yourself by yourself? Because again, the next person you're with does not want to become the next person you blame. And it's just that simple. You've heard it before. When somebody comes to you and they're talking to you about somebody else, it's just a matter of time before that person goes to someone else to talk about you. And that's a given. That's a given. That's just who they are. That's just how people are built. Because again, they're looking for excuses to, maybe they're not up to par. Maybe they refuse to take advantage of the situation. Maybe they refuse to grow, but it shouldn't be your fault. It never is. Unless you're physically restraining them, you're physically keeping them down, bounded, chained up in the dungeon. That's a different story. That's a whole different story. But what I'm getting at is that it's up to you. It's up to you. And it's your decision, not anybody else's. So constantly making excuses or blaming others is a surefire way of not being a successful leader. And speaking of not learning something new. Folks, every day there's something new to be learned. I have 3 books right now I'm currently reading, and every time I'm kind of sitting at that level at 3 books at a time, and they all end at different times, so that way I'm staggering. But again, I'm constantly learning something new. Why? Because we have to. We have to keep growing. We have to keep the old brain box going, keep those gears moving, growing, succeeding, and that's how we become better people to ourselves. Lacking self-discipline. Oh, yeah, I was there for a while. I was that way for a while. And, I joined the military. They gave me discipline and self-discipline because it fell on me to take the initiative and left it. And again, I had the discipline to go and find a job and get this and do that and go back to school and get my degrees, get my degrees in my bachelor's, my master's. And now I'm contemplating a PhD, but contemplating. So it's not there yet. writing books. So again, it's all about self-discipline. You set yourself as goals and you do what it takes to get there. When you lack the self-discipline, guess what? You're never going to be anywhere close to being a successful leader. And here's a bonus one, number 11, failing to accept personal responsibility. We talk a lot about accountability, but what about personal responsibility? We fail to accept personal responsibility, and guess what? We get what we deserve. So let's recap the 10 things guaranteed to never make you a successful leader. Number 1, being scared to try anything. 2, taking advice from bad managers, people that are all talk but are afraid to lead, people that have never led before. Focusing on the safe and certain, well, that's never going to make you a successful leader. Assuming some became leaders through luck or it was handed to them, well, again, no, they have to work for it. They have to work for it. And no one is going to put somebody in a leadership position and call them a leader and willing to risk their reputation when somebody is not ready to be a leader. Think about that, because guess what? That affects the legacy of that first individual. Number 5 of the 10 things guaranteed to never make you a successful leader, not being prepared. Folks, be prepared. Write down notes, take notes, make a list, do a checklist, a checkbox list, whatever it takes, but be prepared, plan ahead. Number 6, not setting goals, all kinds, personal, professional, anything. You don't set any goals, you're going to go nowhere because you have nothing to work for. And what I mean by setting goals, you actually write them down, because when you write them down, they become real. Number 7, spending more time on distractions. Stop that. You can spend some time, but not more time. Grow. Constantly making excuses and blaming others. Oh, ad infinitum. That's just like a gear grinder for me. But folks, those that make excuses, again, you don't want any part of those. Learn that not learning something new, not taking the time to learn something new, that's definitely guaranteed to never make you a successful leader. Lacking self-discipline. We all need self-discipline. And if you don't have it, again, you get what you deserve. And number 11, the bonus thing, guaranteed to never make you a successful leader. Failing to accept responsibility, failing to hold yourself accountable, failing yourself. Well, folks, I'm Dave Guerra. Thanks for watching. This has been Lessons in Leadership. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, hit that bell to get notified of my new postings. Until next week, where there'll be another new posting, take care.